May I have your attention, please? Please turn off your cell phones at this time and any electronic devices. If you need to speak to your neighbor, please take it outside. Thank you.
Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order. Today is Thursday, April the 9th, 2015, 7 p.m. Our invocation this evening will be by Ms. LaJuana.
Father, how we thank you, Lord, for this day. And Father, how we thank you for life itself. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity that we have as citizens and as a council to come to a meeting and do what is good for the community and for the citizens of this community. We thank you for each one that serves in this capacity, those that volunteer in any capacity, and thank you, Father, for all the many ways in which we are blessed. For it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Stay standing, please. We have established a quorum: Councilman Tejada, Councilman Ortiz, Councilman Nieto, Councilman Guerrero, and Councilman Rodriguez. We can recite the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
This time, do we have any citizens' comments?
Yes, ma'am. No, I'm not doing
Sir,
this.
would you please state your name for the record?
I sure will. I'm not doing this for more publicity, except for one thing. I am Doug Jones, and I am the president of the Floresville Parks Foundation. Mr. Koontz, the developer who is doing the Texas Balloon Spectacular, has given the foundation 5 tickets for a ride in a hot air balloon. We're going to wrap it. Had the printer in Dallas not messed up the sequence numbers, I would have had them tonight and start asking each of you to join our little raffle at $5 a person, about $350 worth of value. I was told that if it doesn't get in this evening in the late mail, that we should have it tomorrow. And the foundation will be at the car show if the Lord keeps the rain from coming down on our heads, and we'll start to sell it. What I'd like to do is get them sold prior to the 12th of May. And if I can get them sold time enough to where we could come into here, I'd like the drawing to be done by the city council and have the Wilson County News, put a little log in there. Mr. Koontz wants to have the names of the winners probably a couple of days prior to the event so he can do the scheduling of the rides. So whenever you're ready, if you trust me, I've got a 1 to 1,000 sign-up sheet. I've got $10 in here that I've already got that I'll have to get the raffle tickets to the individuals. But I am trustworthy, and I sure hope that we can sell them all. And I think that one of the first projects would be to sponsor one of those sponsorships with the all-youth program that used to be the Girls Club and the Boys Club. And also perhaps replace all of those grills down there in the city park like we did in Pecan Park. Thank you.
I'm Karen Hannum, and I'm the director of the Floresville Food Pantry and Resource Center. And you have before you an invitation to our grand opening on April 18th from 11 o'clock till 2. There'll be ribbon cutting at 11, and there'll be free food, there'll be bouncy houses for the kids, face painting, and it's ought to be a good family time. And we're proud to be opening the food pantry, and we'd like everyone to come and participate. And the pamphlet explains our mission statement and our hours that we're open. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Karen, on this group, everybody has compiled together, right? Have I understood correctly? The different churches that are having the food
Yes,
pantries?
yes, the original,
Now there's one location.
yes, that's correct.
Good evening, Mayor.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Okay, Lawana Denham Lewis, I'm president of the Wilson County Historical Society, and Mayor and Council, thank you so much for letting me come this evening. And also, on behalf of the Floresville Opry, I'm representing Viola Hickey tonight, who could not be here. But we have really enjoyed being able to use the event center and a lot of the successes that we have had out there, and we want to give back a little bit of what we've earned. So what I have done tonight is I have a new American flag and a new Texas flag to be flown out of the event center. We noticed that there wasn't one flying, so Viola said we need to get one out there and get it flying. So I want to thank y'all so much, and I present these on behalf of the Wilson County Historical Society. And the next offering is May, the first Thursday in May, which I believe is May the 7th. So we invite you all to come out and enjoy a good time.
And the
Thank
flags
you.
will be waving.
Yes,
Get it
we
when you
will.
see them.
Texas flag and the American flag. Thank you so much. We appreciate y'all's help. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you, Mr. Lana.
Okay, now we're going to go on to 1, which is presentation and discussion. We're going to start with A, musical talent agencies for city events. I believe TABS was unable to make it tonight.
Yes, they had a last minute emergency. They apologize and hope that we can let them present you at the next city council meeting, but they're unavailable for tonight's meeting.
Okay. Then we're going to go on to Bill Angelini Enterprises. I hope I still said that right.
My name is Bill Angelini, owner of Bill Angelini Enterprise and Associates at bookyourevent.com, and thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing us to give you this presentation. Well, to start off, I gave everyone a package which pretty much says what we do and how we've done it in the past and what we plan to do. Bottom line, I was recently contacted by Councilman Daniel Tejeda, who is a friend of mine over the last 4 or 5 years, and asking me to possibly help him with the new 2015 Christmas extravaganza and possibly other future events. As a longtime provider of event services with recent history, with the 2010 grand opening of the new convention center and past Christmas events, I suggested that the city allow me and my associates to offer services as consultants for upcoming projects of entertainment. The extensive network associated with Bill Angelini Enterprise would be of great service to the Christmas extravaganza and the city's future events. The consultant service would help avoid the learning curve that these type of endeavors require and would save countless man-hours associated with the trial and error method. My associates and I have a combined 40-plus years of experience with facility operations, contracting, concession services, event organization, national entertainment procurement, and general concession services, and general promotion of many events. All this information would serve the city's upcoming projects. As in all new business relationships, nothing is easy. However, the experience mixed with a good team will save money, time, and lay the foundation for a brighter future for the events produced at the convention center facility.
While Bill gets this ready, my name is John Anthony Minola. I'm with Bill Anthony Enterprises and Vida Entertainment. And right now I'm currently working with Cycle Ranch, and we are currently working on the Ancira, all revved up for ALS. And we brought that to Mr. Leon Gray, and I believe he's working with City Council on that date. That is May 16th. So we are also bringing Cody Canada and Departed that day. We're also doing May 2nd, the Gladiator Run. and we're also having rock bands out there as well. So we have a diverse form of music that we can book and bring in. Also, May 23rd, we're having #1 on the charts, Granger Smith at Cycle Ranch as well. So I've been working with Ian Gray, also doing the marketing and promotions for Cycle Ranch, and hopefully we can build Cycle Ranch and be a little gym there for Floresville, Texas. I think Bill is ready to go. I'll show you this presentation.
Floresville Convention Center in Floresville, Texas. Join us July 2nd through the 4th of July for the biggest and baddest fireworks, plus live entertainment. July 2nd will feature Agustin Ramirez, Jimmy Edward, Brandon Rivera, Roger Velasquez, Fireman, and Texas Latino, plus the Baile Candelasa with Disney's Orchestra and Giant Dance Floor. The arts and crafts, food booths, cold beer, fun for the whole family. Fun continues Saturday, July 3rd with Texas music country star Kevin Fowler. Kevin Fowler and introducing Bob Beer. On the 4th of July, it's the biggest, baddest fireworks show. Including the Electric Cowboys, Trinity Elvis and the Beatles, the Mudcats, America's Got Talent, the Spurs, Coyote and more. Sponsored by Wilson County News, Bill Knight, and BookYourEvent.com. It's now on sale. For more info, go to WilsonCountyNews.com or call 830-401-0061.
Okay. That was a commercial that I produced for the grand opening of the convention center in 2010. With the help of then Mayor Tejeda, I was part of the grand opening and actually picked up the tab on most of that entertainment that you just heard on the commercial. This is the kind of information that I want to pass on to the city, and this is the kind of things that I do with my company. We're not scared to put money up, and we're not scared to do the best job for the least amount of money it costs to the client. If you go over some of the information that I passed out, you'll see a bio on myself, one on John. You'll see the marketing plan that I put together for the grand opening in 2010, and some other items in there that will show that we are serious in what we do and we know what we're doing. So I would open it up for any questions that you might have at this point. Most of the items and the proposal is there in front of you. I would read it, but I have a hard time reading with these glasses, dude. You know what happens when you get older, you know, you just have a tendency to miss words in between.
Madam Mayor, in the absence of a question from the council, may I ask him a question?
Yes, sir.
What is your fee, sir?
The fee depends on the event, and that's how we figure the
If the
fee.
city council were to select your company tonight, what would your fee to the city be for anything in the future? The reason that I asked,
For a quick answer for you, I would say 10 to 15% of whatever we brought to the table.
okay, the reason I asked, I have documents that in the 2010 and 2011 holiday extravaganza, the city paid you nearly $20,000. And I'd like to know what the fee would be for you to do it throughout a year if they were to select your company.
You say the city paid me $20,000?
That's what the checks say.
That's new to me because I remember that me and my associate picked up the bill for all the entertainment. Now, I'm not sure what you're looking at.
Bill, I think he's referring to the bands you were booking at that time. We went through your agency.
Oh. I think you're talking about deposits that we put up for the different bands. Was that during the extravaganza? Or the grand opening? 'Cause
Here's your contract, sir. This one says 9,000 plus riders, whatever that means. There's the amount. Okay. Now, it doesn't say where the money went. It just says it's payable to.
Right. Okay, what he's looking at is the contract that I put together for Johnny Lee and the Urban Cowboy Band for the Christmas extravaganza, 2011, December 16th. And that's a contract that I did as a booking agent for the
For the city, yes.
Again, I'd like, if we could get what your fee's gonna be for your services.
Well,
Was that a fee, Mr. Angelini, for that particular event, or was that also paying some of the?
Okay, let me just, when we do an event, the way it works is this way. Once we decide which groups we want, then I make the deal with the main agencies up in Nashville, California, New York, or whatever they are up front. And they give me a fee and they send us contracts. With that contract, then we have to deposit to them whatever they require, sometimes 50%, sometimes less. If I'm doing the contract for many of the Tejano groups, I only charge a 10%. So basically, a 10% fee is charged. If I sell you a group for $9,000, then it would be $8,200 to the band and the other $800 to the company. If,
So it's safe to say that that $20,000 did not go out to you?
Oh, no, I wish. No, what it is that the company acts as a go-between, between the act and.
No, I think that's fine. He's a Parks Foundation president, but you're also the president of the We Don't Like Danny Tejano Foundation. So that's why, just to clarify that.
I'm just trying to cover
I
the
know,
city
but I'm just saying.
sir.
Well, the contract said Johnny Lee,
Okay.
and not Tejano, but I understand the gentleman's question. But as an agency and a seller of talent, we do make money and we charge a fee. I'll have to come up front and say that, just like any other business. But I'll tell you that we normally save the client 15 to 20% of what he would normally pay if he called directly to those agencies. And the question there would be why, and the answer would be because we buy so much talent that we get deals from certain agencies because of what we do. It's kind of like a volume purchase.
Bill, can you tell us some of that acts you're doing right now, here or anywhere else in the country? Where you book currently?
Well, just recently I booked for the Cycle Ranch, and we booked Cody Canada and The Departed
And Granger Smith.
and Granger Smith. It's May the 16th and then
May 23rd.
May 23rd. Those are two shows that are coming to your area, to the new Cycle Ranch.
So council, the money that we gave to the Cycle Ranch, they in turn booked Bill Angelini for the entertainment.
Now, other than the 10% that you're charging like for the talent, is there another fee for like promoting the services or?
Yeah, yes, there would be. It would all depend on the size of the event. If it takes me, if I have to go down and go from toilets to food booths, to sponsorships, et cetera, well then, the price will go up depending on the time that it takes for me to do it. What I explained in that letter, it was that because I have done this pretty much all my life, in my 65 plus years, I can avoid a lot of the mistakes that could be made by, say, a more novice person or somebody who doesn't know the business. And so there is a learning curve, and I can't say anybody can pick up the phone and call up Nashville and say, I want to book Kevin Fowler, Pat Green, or whoever. But if they don't know you and you tell them you're with the city, then they see dollar signs and already your price would go up. When I call them as your representative, I know the pricing, I know how they work. I call them on it, I tell them I need better pricing, and that's what I do. So basically, you do pay me a 10% fee, but I probably save you 20%. So in essence, I do pay for myself, or the company pays for itself.
Is there a tier or some type of grade of entertainment that y'all provide? Say if some low person that no one knows about to someone that's world-renowned entertainer?
Well, we booked all groups, yes. Now, because of the type of clients that I haven't been booking too many of the lower tier bands, and the majority of the groups that I book will start from 3,500 on up. I just finished doing a Super Bowl event in Chandler, Arizona. There's a reference from Rawhide about that on the paperwork I gave you. And I spent, we had $700,000 to use, not just on entertainment, but on fencing, on toilets, on lighting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you can spend a lot of money real quick if you're not careful. Now, that was for a Gila River Indian Reservation, which owns a casino, and so to them, that kind of money is big money, but, you know, I think they make that daily in the casino, because they have 3 of them, so their main purpose for being involved with the Super Bowl and hiring us to do it for them was more of a community standard look that we can do for the community. Because a lot of that money went back into the community, the services that were provided by people in that market. So, but to answer your question, that yeah, the smaller bands, a mariachi band, $500, I have done that. And I have paid up to $50,000 for certain acts at this point. But I mean, that's in general.
So basically, the higher the tier, the more the city's gonna have to spend.
Well, the higher the, you know, if you say I have $20,000 to do entertainment, and I have to make that $20,000 work and get you good entertainment, that's what will happen. If I tell you it's going to cost 20, it will cost 20. It might cost you 18, but it will never go to 25 or 30 with me saying, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you this. We don't work that way. That's why we have people coming back to us. We're not. Basically, if you said for the extravaganza, the Christmas extravaganza, that you had $20,000 a day for entertainment, then I would do that in that market for that type of band at that level. If you look on the list of groups that I put down, there's certain packages where you mix, let's say for say, just for you, Tejano, David Lee Garza, and I would bring in guests Jay Perez, Remereda, and another singer. So I would bring you not only David Lee, but I would bring his past artists, and we would perform, and we would pass that off to the general public as more than just come see David Lee. You're going to see a bigger show. And those are the kind of things that I can put together. That might cost more than if we just bought David Lee Garza, if you know what I'm saying there. So.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm really going to enjoy reading this as well and listen to country music. But my question would be, I understand that it's more than just the performer himself. You would help us as we contract you to put together the event in reference to maybe connecting with some future sponsorships and promoting the idea of radio ads that would come along with it as well. Not necessarily, I know you get your 10% for like a finder's fee or a booking fee, but you're a full service, you service more than just the talent itself? Is that what I'm picking up?
If you told me to construct an event from A to Z, I would do that for you. From fencing, staging, toilets, electricity. It's at my stage in my career, I've done so many that it doesn't seem very hard to me to put together other associates to make it happen quickly and at a price that is palatable.
And you have a diversity in reference to who you represent, everything from rock and roll to country western or whatever, the different kind of genres we need. You know?
Yes.
So we
Yeah,
can
we do.
provide that.
We do.
We have more staying on time with the Super Bowl deal, so. Yeah, I was happy about that.
The Super Bowl, I think we did Los Lonely Boys, Morris Day and the Time, and also Motley. We brought in Flaco Jimenez.
Thompson Square.
Thompson Square was another one.
It was a real diverse, for the Super Bowl, it was real diverse. We had 3 days out there that we had to bring music in for, so.
Mayor Rex, one more, and I'm gonna pass the microphone. But one of the things that we're having, I'm new to the city of Floresville, but we have this wonderful event center. And I know that one of the things the council is trying to do is start to have some activities there, entertainment type of activities. I think one of them you mentioned was extravaganza, but there's more that we're planning to do. And we're hoping to come up with suggestions, but we're going to be meeting people, we can pick their brains. And so, as a promoter, would you be willing to come to the table with ideas and suggestions? I heard the radio ad, and I was like, ooh, 4th of July, I really want to do that. So those kind of things that you can bring to the table that you would help us, not just, hey, I want this band, you'll get the band.
No, it would be a professional from A to Z. That's what I'm saying. You know, we've done it so much, and we know how to do it, from commercials to purchasing or buying talent at a good price. And as far as the genre of music, if you say you want a rock show, you'll get a rock show. If you say you want to book Three Doors Down or one of these rock bands, then if they're available at a decent price, that's who you'll get. I'll have to say though, most of the bands in the rock genre that you know or have heard on the radio are with, $75,000 to $150,000 bands. And that's not because they want a lot of money, it's because the way they figure their dollar worth, and some of these country bands are even are worse as far as dollars payments. I mean, who was it? Can't remember right now, but one of the bigger country bands wanted $1 million. Like Garth Brooks, forget it. He won't, if he doesn't want. If you want a band that's outside of my genre, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you right away, that's not going to happen. Because there's a whole political scene going on with those type of entertainers who get that kind of money. There's a reason why. Because big promoters like Live Nation, they buy whole tours. When I say whole tours, I mean they might buy 30 dates at $1 million or 30 dates at $500,000. So they own that band. So if I call them up and say, I got $5 million for you, they'll tell me no, because they have a relationship with a promoter who does that on a regular basis. That's just a 101 promoter for you there. But in the situation of the convention center, one of the reasons why in 2010 I helped put together that July 4th grand opening was because I saw the potential of that convention center. And I was there when they were laying cement, and I was there with when the staging was going up and how the electrical was laid out. And, I was tickled to death to be able to do the first show, the first 3 days of it. I was hoping at that point to do what you said about making that event center more palatable as far as to other promoters, where we don't spend a dime, we use their money to promote your center. And the more you promote your center with somebody else's money, the better you're off, because then you're not spending the money to do it. You're letting another promoter bring in acts. You're watching over what they do, so they do it professionally, because you don't want somebody that's not going to pay the bands there, because then everybody looks to the center as the ones who maybe didn't pay the bands. So there's a lot of things that go on when you go outside of your box to get other promoters. There's certain ones you want, and there's certain promoters that you don't want. And that's one of the things that we can do. We just know how to do that.
I have a question. Do you do, other than musicians, do you do like comedians?
Oh, we do them all, yeah.
The question I have.
Entertainment's entertainment. If you wanted comedians or
Monster trucks,
monster truck,
yeah, jet cars, I mean, dirt bike stuff, anything in the motorsports, we can do that as well, comedians, just any kind of entertainment you might think of within reasonable. If you have the budget, you go, look, we have this much, we'll try to get it to you.
Bill, let me say that the way this is going to be funded is through a hotel motel tax. So when we're talking about events like the mayor's talking about, or comedians, or the motorcycles and things like that, we're trying to bring people into our community for them to spend the night here and spend some dollars here. That's the whole purpose. It's not, okay, we're just going to have a festival and have the locals come, and it's great. You know, as you said, the facility is one of the nicest, largest facilities in the area. So we want to bring people into Floresville. And as you know, since you helped us with the extravaganza the first couple of times, people did accept that. They came into our town and they spent the night here and spent money here. So we want to relive that, but not just in Tejano music, in all kinds of entertainment.
Yes, you know, I agree with that. Actually, I used to run our book Grand Central Station in San Antonio, Texas, every Friday night for over 13 years. Tejano bands every Friday night for 13 years. So if anybody knows Tejano, I do know it, but I mean, I'm a little bit oversaturated at this point with some Tejano. and I'd like to move into other directions also. But you have to look at your market and who you're going to serve. You know, if the artist that you bring in does not have a following, or the people that live in that market, or the people that want to come to the market are not looking for that type of entertainment, then you're just spending your money. So there's a calculated scenario that has to go on when you buy the talent. You know, if you might not want hard rap on some deals, but then some deals you might want it because it'll fill up the place. But then again, you know, there's other things that go with that, or heavy metal rock, or even some country bands that are more rock and roll than they are country. They won't necessarily draw in your market, but they might do well in Austin. Okay, so you have to read about what's going on in the market. As far as bringing people to the town, I think the more events you do, the more outside promoters do use the facility. And I think that should be a priority, to bring outside promoters and outside money in. That will make the convention center there wake up. Because if they bring people to the events that don't normally come in this area, then you've already exposed them to the area, their restaurants, and et cetera, and they'll say, hey, Floresville's a pretty nice place to go. I like it. I feel comfortable there. It's safe.
It's a great place to be at.
It's a great place. I wouldn't be standing right here right now.
Bill, let me ask you a question. Say we select you to be our talent buyer, and we select, or you recommend whatever band. The contract is between you and that band, or the contract is between us and them? How does that work?
Well, it can be either way. Either way. If we, for full disclosure, to know what I'm making, etc., like, so we don't have a problem with somebody saying, how come you made this money? The best way to do it there would be contracting, going directly to the city, and me being a signator with whoever else is appointed. And then there you would see the writers, and you'd see the information, you'd see all the things that we have to do to bring that show in. You can't just put a stage and sound, and it gets pretty particular. But then you would also see it costs so much, and you know, I have, the reason I'm in the middle with a lot of clients, the Shrimpery, for example, in Aransas Pass, they don't have to worry about the Shrimpery when it comes to entertainment. She calls me up, she says, I want this, this, and this, I got this much money, make it happen. Okay? She doesn't say, well, you know, make sure you don't make too much money, because, I mean, that's my business, and the business that we're in is to make a dollar like whatever businesses you're in. So it's such a turnkey thing that, you know, she comes back for 10 years now. She trusts me to give her a good price, and then the day of the show, either myself or one of my representatives is there to babysit, to talk to the talent, to make sure they're happy, to make sure that they're not being, not nice to the promoters, or that they're not saying things that on stage that the city wouldn't want them to say, or using vulgar whatever. My people are there on site to do that. So there is a lot of ways to do that. Most of them I contract them, I send you a contract with the writer. You pay me a deposit, I send them their deposit, and then the day of the show, I'm there to make sure that it's done properly, and we pay them the amount of money that they have, and make sure that the money's there, and et cetera, and that they don't overcharge you saying that we owe them more than the contract says.
So if we select your agency tonight, then you come back and say, okay, we have these bands that are available, and you have penciled them in, or what happens then?
If you look at the bands that I put on that, on the different resumes that I put there, you'll see Tejano, and then you'll see Texas Country. All the bands that are on those two sheets are available for that weekend. The reason I say Texas Country is I know that in this market, Texas Country, Randy Rogers, Pat Green, Some of the people that they're gonna have in Cycle Ranch will draw crowds. And I do believe that the market over here would do well with Texas Country. When you go to Classic Country, you're dealing with an older bunch of artists, not necessarily fans, that are a little bit more harder to work with. They want to fly in, they want flights, they want hotels, and it gets a little bit out of hand. To go for the big groups that come to the big to the rodeos in San Antonio, Houston, and Austin, their dollars are so high that it doesn't make sense for a place that only holds, 2,000?
About 1,200 seats, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta, if you pay someone $20,000, then, and it costs you $10,000 to produce, let's say, so you have $30,000 invested, then if you sell it out at 2,000 people, just to break even, you gotta put a $15 ticket on it. And that doesn't take into account the electricity or the extra security, etc. So your ticket price will go up to $30 if you try to make money at the door. And so you can see it's all relative to the size of the building. Now, if you're able to get a $50,000 band that wants to do an intimate setting in a 2,000-seater, then your tickets could be $100 a piece. And then you would be able to do that. But you would have to be guaranteed that that band is that strong that they can pull $100 a ticket. You know, because then at $1,100, well, it's $100,000 right there. So paying $50,000 doesn't look that bad.
Mr. Angelini, I want to thank you for being here this evening and presenting to us.
I want to thank everybody.
I'd like to add one favorable comment. His concept is one-stop shopping. In the 2011 extravaganza, you had a contract with him, you had a contract with La Familia, you had it with whoever did Bobby Flores, you had a contract to rent tables and chairs, you had a contract to do the lighting. He's already said that in his concept, he can do all that for you.
Mr. Jones, I'm going to have to ask you, I get so tired when people keep going to the past, to the past, to the past. I want to leave that behind us and work forward positively.
But what I'm saying is that his concept would alleviate.
That's why we're
having
asking for
7 or
people to
8
present to us so we can make the best choice.
Thanks for breaking that.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go on to 1B, sewer plant maintenance update. Mr. Heimer and Mr. Valles.
I can, first of all, Larry Heimer with here, and one of the city engineers, I've been working with Andrew and his staff to work with them to address the wastewater plant issues that they've been dealing with. Then also we're working with staff related to a loan grant application with USDA. But related to the maintenance of the plant, I can kind of give you just a quick rundown of some of the issues that have been dealt with out there that are still being worked on and will continue to be worked on. I guess several months ago, one of the first issues that happened was one of the clarifiers went down, and there were some issues there that kind of created a buildup of sludge and kind of created a kind of an upset in the plant that we're still, I think the city is just about, or Andrew's staff is about to get under control, but everything out there is old. It's some of the clarifiers and the racetrack out there is probably 55 years old, 50 years old at this point in time. So it's done very good for the time it's been in service, and it definitely there's maintenance issues that have to be handled on a pretty regular basis. So that does create a big load on Andrew and his staff. But the clarifier issue was addressed. Then recently there was a large rainfall event, and there was an overflow on the oxidation ditch of the racetrack. And all that was kind of related to the sludge buildup in the plant. The oxidation ditch had a buildup of heavier solids in the bottom of the oxidation ditch, which decreased its capacity and reduced the amount of freeboard between the water surface and the top of the concrete structure. And so that, with the added rainfall event, that kind of led to that problem that occurred. But since that time, Andrew has worked to go through and address that problem. Some of the issues that we found were creating that problem was certainly the sludge buildup, the sludge lines from the oxidation ditch to the clarifiers were partially blocked, clogged, and since that time, Andrew has gotten help from Sarah to help clean those lines and address that problem. With that being addressed, he was able to lower the water surface elevation in the oxidation ditch and provide more freeboard, which that allows you to handle the larger, if there's a rainfall event and more flow comes in the plant, it kind of gives you a buffer there to hold that extra flow.
Is that caused by lack of preventative maintenance?
Well, it's just an older plant, requires a lot of maintenance, and it's just a continuing effort. You know, it's something that I know Andrew has taken care of with his staff, the most important things, but, you know, a plant of that age, and some of these things, I can recall 20 years ago, this problem developed, and it was related to sludge buildup, and at that time, the city got some vacuum trucks out there to help remove some of that sludge, and that kind of solves that issue and took care of it.
But it could have been prevented, correct, with proper maintenance?
No.
Or no?
No.
Because, let me address Mr. Hyman first, and you can address it.
Well, again, it's just a continuing problem. These problems pop up here and there, like the clarifier going down. That was something that was unforeseen. That caused a buildup in sludge, and it just creates kind of a domino effect of issues, but she's taken care of now, and is on the road to recovery in that regard. But it's something that, you know, hindsight's 20/20. Yes, if you'd had spent, you know, $20,000 every 5 years or every 2 years to go out there and have everything cleaned out, that may have been a good thing to do. But again, hindsight is 20/20, and you can't anticipate a lot of these problems and how they occur. And so the best thing, in my experience, you can do is just address them. And when they occur, try to go through and figure out where the real problems are and address them by cleaning things out and getting it back to where the plant is operating efficiently. So that's what he's doing. But again, from a standpoint, it could have been prevented. You know, certainly hindsight says, yeah, if we'd have spent $20,000 every 5 years, maybe it would have been, for that particular issue, it might have helped it not be a big problem now, but you don't know those things. You have to address the problems as they develop. So, in my opinion, it's not something that you can anticipate. Definitely, I would suggest that more funds need to be allocated to allow these things to occur, but that's always been an issue too, having enough funds available to take care of problems. And as the plant gets older, these problems become bigger, and there's more cost involved. Right now, as I said, Sarah cleaned out the sludge lines. Andrew's been able to lower the water surface elevation because of that in the plant, in the oxidation ditch. I think on Monday he has a company coming in to, with the vacuum truck type procedure, to kind of remove a lot of the sludge that's been built up in the curved areas of the oxidation ditch. Then after that, he's going to have a backhoe operator for short periods of time go in and start working on cleaning out some of the straight runs of the oxidation ditch. Again, that's to be done very slowly because you don't want to disturb that sludge and have it come back up. You want to keep it pretty much as it is operating now. If you disturb that too much, you'll create too big of a load of sludge into your clarifiers and create another problem. So it's a very methodical, slow process to get the plant back in shape. So, and I think he's on the right track from my standpoint in doing that. And there was a lot of discussion about sludge and getting a belt press, temporary belt press. We looked at that. You know, that certainly would help the city process and get rid of that sludge quicker. But it's very expensive to do that, to rent a sludge belt press. And so, you know, I think in our process with Andrew, we think that once we get the oxidation ditch functioning properly, get rid of that extra sludge, do what he's done with cleaning the sludge lines, we want to monitor that for a while to see how that's working, and getting back to where it's operating at a constant level again. I think he's close to being there now. The oxidation ditch, you know, has brush aerators, which is technology that was back in 1960 to aerate that inflow going through there. And those brush aerators are very inefficient. They're old. He's put Band-Aids on those, on the gearboxes and on those bearings, for several times now, and they're just old. And one of the things that we have recommended the city do is purchase a floating aerator that will help supplement air into that mixture. And that will kind of give Andrew a little bit more of a backup should one of those brush aerators actually die and quit working. So he's looking, we're getting some pricing on that for him to consider, and hopefully the city can go forward and purchase that. So there's quite a few things that we're in the process of working with Andrew on to get good information so we can get everything under control at this point in time. So we're also looking at working with TCEQ to try to make sure we address any concerns they have. That overflow that occurred under a heavy rainfall event, that could happen again, although with the drawing down the elevation of that water surface and the oxidation helps. But it could happen again, and so to prevent that effluent from leaving the plant or coming out of the structure, we're working with Andrew now to kind of create a flow equalization type pond area that's in the area near the oxidation ditch, so that if it does happen again, it can capture that flow, and then as the rainfall event ends, put it back into the system. So that would require, he has a pond excavated now, but in order for it to meet TCEQ requirements, we'd have to add a liner of some type in that pond to address that. So, and then also address how we would pump it back into the oxidation ditch after that event subsided. So we're working with Andrew to try to find the best solution for that problem right now. So I think he's on the right track. I don't know, Andrew, do you have anything else to add?
Well, on the spill that, there's a lot of people talking about, on 4 o'clock to 7 a.m., we received 3.5 inches of rain there at the plant. You calculate that you're receiving over 220,000 gallons of water on a 900 containment. So that you get a 32 ounce of water on a 16-ounce bottle, and you try to pour it in there, it's going to come out. That is nothing that anybody could prevent. During that time, we weren't the only ones that had problems. Sarah had 6 plants that were spilled. We do preventive maintenance. We grease, we maintain the aerators, the grease box. Every week we make sure that they're greased, that they have oil, that they're just open. They run 360 days a year, and these bearings wear out. They're not where you can just get them off the shelf anymore. They got to be built. You're looking at 3, 4, 5 weeks sometimes, waiting period to get it back. When that happens, the plant gets on balance, and more of that solids stay inside the plant, where we need to be drawing them out to maintain it to a proper level. And right now, we're doing a lot of manual work, but we got to do it. We're wasting every day to the smart boxes. We're cleaning out the drying beds, so we can take that sludge out and try to get the plant back in order.
How are we taking the sludge, how are we delivering it?
We take it, either one of our operators hauls it, or Republic comes in and takes it. We take it to the Republic plant.
Do we have the vehicles to transport the sludge?
Yes, we do. We just got one, a new truck, because the old one that we had, probably the time that you were mayor, finally gave out. We had to get another roll box.
Okay, but you just said we have a new one, but we're paying Republic to take it?
No. I'm saying right now, we're pouring every day, and we're putting 2 smart boxes. Right now, we have a 10-day agreement with Republic to help us haul the sludge, because there's other things that we got to do in the plant. For example, we got rain coming. I need all
Okay,
the
so
operators.
Republic is taking the sludge.
Right now, they take it only Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for us. They don't take it every day. We flush it every day.
So do we need a driver then? Is that what
And we got a driver. We're gonna go back to how we were, but right now,
How much have we paid Republic in fees for the sludge?
well, last year, I think we paid them like $96,000.
And we have the truck that we
We
just
got
bought.
the truck. We're gonna start hauling.
So would it be feasible to maybe hire an extra person? I mean, instead of paying them $96,000 so they can haul every day, someone just dedicated to that?
The 96,000 that we.
Does that include disposal also, you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That takes from taking it in.
Yeah, I mean, we understand you're busy with everything, but we're just trying to brainstorm if it'd be feasible to
No,
hire.
we
a
got the
dedicated
driver, we got the truck,
Yeah.
and we're gonna start doing that, but right now I've been shorthanded. One of my operators got hurt, he just barely got back here Monday. And we're addressing berms, we're addressing the aerators, we're addressing the lines that need to be cleaned up. We're gonna be working with SWS, cleaning the dead sludge around the track. We're gonna have to gradually get the backhoe and go down the middle and very carefully, because this is an old track, to pull whatever's in the middle. One of the things that's been very difficult to clean this oxidation ditch is that there's no place for us to offload the water. If we had some place to offload 900,000 gallons and stop everything, then we could clean it. But in this particular case, if we can't do it, it's got to keep running. I can't stop it. If I stop it, you'll be getting calls off the wall saying that sewer's in my house. So we had to get a contractor that was able to do something like this while the track's running, the aerators are running, because I can't stop the aerators either, because otherwise the bugs that help us keep the mixed core at a satisfied level, we'd be damaging ourselves. So this company, SWS, they're the emergency response unit for TCU. They're going to come in and they're going to put a filter in a tank. And as they're drawing the water out, they're going to try to filter the sludge out. And on their contract, they're estimating at least 10 days to get that.
You mentioned